To part 2 on the step-by-step guide on how to edit video using Capcut, especially for beginners. Now, I'm going to be breaking down some core concepts that you need to be aware of when you want to edit video with Capcut. Now, in a world where the consumption for visually presented information has become very, very important, you need to pay close attention that the aspect ratio of that particular content matters a lot, which is what we have here, which is what we call the video size. You can see we have custom, we have 16 by 9, we have 4 by 3, we have this particular size, 2 by 1, 18, 9 by 16, 3 by 4, 1 and 1 by 1, and the rest of them. So these things are very, very important for anyone who want to edit video. Even before you start a project, these things are very, very important. You must know which particular platform that you are going to be presenting the video on. When I come to this particular point, you get to see here that on this particular platform, the larger percentage of people who watch this content are using computer, which is 45, that means this is a content that is being driven or posted on YouTube. So 90% of videos that you post on YouTube are for educational purposes. So that means most people who want to watch educational information want it to be on a larger screen. That is why when I come here, you see the higher percentage of people who watch content on YouTube are using a computer. So that means if you are going to edit video that will be posted on YouTube, you need to come to this particular point, click here, and then pick the aspect ratio from the beginning of the project. Because if you make mistake, you are going to end up having a content that will be having low engagement. Now, when I come to this particular platform again, you see this is TikTok. Now, for TikTok consumers, there are people who want entertainment content. There are mostly people who uses phones to watch their content. So that means if you are going to edit a content that is meant for TikTok, you need to go for this particular frame size, this particular one, which is the 9 by 16. The same thing with what you have on YouTube. If you come back to the same YouTube again, here you will notice that there is also an option for short video. I want you to think. So you can see this is also a 9 by 16 aspect ratio video. So videos like this, most videos that are designed for 9 by 16, they are designed for low retention. That means people who watch those type of video, their brain are wired not to stay to watch for too long. So they are mostly entertainment content. And even if you want to put educational content in that format, in those particular platforms, you need to be aware that the people there are not people who sit down to watch for so long. So you need to use the 9 by 16 format, and you have to make it as short as possible. That is why they are called short form content. Then we have the 3 by 4. This 3 by 4, they are mostly for those who are on Facebook, and then as well as 1:1. They are mostly found on Facebook and Instagram. So each of these aspect ratio plays a very vital role right from the beginning of your recording down to the editing. Now, if you make mistake picking the wrong file format or the wrong file option for this beginning, you end up with a lot of stress, because at the end of the day, you will still come back to re-edit it when you don't even plan to. So having the right aspect ratio for the video frame that you want to edit is very, very important. So that means you need to understand that every social media platform have various type of audience. The type of audience you find on TikTok are not the same type of audience that you see on YouTube, because the YouTube audience are mostly consumer based audience who want to consume large form of content for their own interests, which are mostly educational. So if you want to watch educational content, mostly bigger screen, and for entertainment, smaller screen for phones, just like what you clearly see here. So you need to be mindful of this while editing. Then by the time you are done with this, picking this, by the time you are done with the editing, another integral part that you need to pay attention to is during the exportation process. When you are exporting, you need to be aware that now when it comes to the aspect exporting, you need to pick the file name correctly, and then the environment where you want to export it to. Do you want it on your phone? Do you want it on your flash drive? Do you want it on any device? Then the next thing, you look at what we call the resolution. Now resolution play a very important role when it comes to exporting your content, because if you pick a resolution that is too low, when you are taking it on a wider screen, the quality becomes very poor, because these images that you are seeing here, they are crystal in nature. That means they are tiny pieces of dots that makes up this particular image that you are seeing. So you need to be mindful of it. That is why we have various aspect ratio here. You will have 4:8, you will have 7:20, you will have 10:18, you will have 4K. Now for wider screen, 4K is always recommendable, or the 720 minimum. Then for smaller screen like phones, you can go with this. But take note, this is very important during your exportation. Although it affects the file size, which is also another key challenge for those who are using smaller devices during the editing. And then by the time you are done picking this, you need to look at the bitrate. The bitrate is not so much of a concern because the recording is what plays the major role of the bitrate from the beginning. And then the code format, these are the various code format. This one is a bit in depth, you don't need to worry yourself. Then we also have the MP4 and the MOV. Now the MP4 is a compressed version. The MOV is usually like for those who are working with raw files, they want to work extra on it. So then we'll now have the frame per second. Now this frame per second is talking about how fast the content presents itself. Just like blink of light, we have tiny pieces of light or tiny drop of water passing. So it plays a very vital role. The higher the speed of this frame rate, the more better the picture quality will appear. So most of the time you can also go with 30 so that at least it will be moderate. But as the higher you go, the more heavy the file too will also be. So when you're done, you now click export. I believe this video helps you. I'm going to be breaking more of the video down. This is part 2. The part 3 will be coming out soon, where we are going to start some other aspect of practicals. So take note. In summary, I'm going to leave a link in the description box of this video for the part 1, as well as some little resources that you need to be aware of when it comes to video editing. Take note again, the frame rate, very important, and then the aspect ratio, also very important. So the aspect ratios talk about the device in which you are going to present the content, where you have the 1:1, the 16:9 for YouTube. This is for Facebook and Instagram. This is for some other kind of devices which are not too common. Then this is for shorts, mostly 9:16 like TikTok, and as well as these two are mostly for TikTok and the rest of them. So I believe this video helps you with a little introduction, because when you mix this up, it's going to be like you are trying to help your friend who is preparing for a birthday party. You pick the camera, then you are going to snap him a passport size photo instead of a particular size of frame photo that you will keep in memory. So you now see now that because of wrong information, you are going to be doing the wrong thing, which will eventually put you to the trouble when your friend will want to get that particular content. So see you guys in my next video. I believe this gives a clear understanding, and don't forget to keep a date as I'll be dropping more.